Next thing was to smooth all of the skin. What I do for the smoothing of the skin is usually mostly around the face. What you see here is these hair follicles is really what they are. They're real bumps and they're real small. This nice young lady's taking a really good care of her skin, but you can see where she shaves her legs and there's hair spots, and the high fashion doesn't want that. But I'm also going to take care of some of these small blemishes that everybody has. If you get right up in somebody's face, you're going to see these. So I'm really just click, 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 taking away the big ones. I just heard something that says, look, if it's going to go away in 2 weeks, take it out. And I generally tend to follow that rule. If it's not going to be there in 2 weeks, take it out. Scars, totally different story. I usually ask who I'm photographing or editing for. You got a big old Harry Potter scar across your forehead. Well, would you want me to take the scar off of Harry Potter? You know, ask Harry. So just going through here and taking care of these little tiny, tiny, tiny blemishes. Honestly, you should take them out probably. But one thing that is something you want to take care of is maybe bags around the eye. Women really hate this, and it's an easy fix. I'm just going to take the patch tool and go over the darker area. Now the trick for this is to take the area you select, move it to an area that's smooth. So I usually take it over the cheek because it does have some texture, but it tends to match the skin under the eye. And you'll notice just from these two, it's just thinned it out. It leaves a little texture. Just taking out that little laugh line there. That's not really a laugh line, but and again, I'm going to move it to about the same area as I did the other one, just to be consistent. And you see, it's really, if we go to the history, you can kind of see from there to there. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just taking out, something to make them look a tad prettier. Okay, now overall skin. How do we do that? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the quick select tool, and I'm just going to select her skin, because the big complaint was it needs to be evened out. I was like, really? It looks pretty good to me. And I am going to go over the face, and I'll tell you what I'm going to take out of it in just a minute. I'm not going to take the ear, for starters. Zoom in now and get a little more in depth into my selection. Hold down the Alt key to get the minus, just to make sure that I don't get certain areas. The shoe has a lot of detail in it. Make sure I don't get that shoe. Let's see here. Alright, so I don't want the eye to be this blurred and smoothed out. And I don't want the lips and mouth because there is enough skin detail. So I selected that to get the other part of the cheek. Now I'm going to use that Alt key on Windows option or whatever you guys use on a Mac. Oops, a little too much. No problem. Just go take it back. And push comes to shove, I can always do a mask on it. But the selection tool is pretty good. I'm not going to take the ear, and I'm not going to take this hair. That's because hair has a texture. I don't want to smooth it out. It'll just look like a black blob. I am going to take that little area and erase, come on, her eyebrow. Or take her eyebrow out of it, because that's texture. Okay. So, zoom out. I've got everything I wanted. I'm going to have trouble here around this mesh, but it's going to be okay. Next thing I want to take out is the couch and the background. Really that easy, and I'm going to add in the rest of her arm. And we're good. And I won't get this arm, I guess it would be her right arm, because it's really not apparent. Okay, so what do? I'm going to copy this, just like I did with the hair, and put it on a new layer. Now, you'll see that that's what we get. Missed a little there. Probably not a big deal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to do something called a median. It's going to kind of even out everything. And it's under noise. And we're going to go to median. Now, high fashion, let me zoom in here, because the high fashion people are like, no, we don't want to see anything different, any da 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 da. So you could almost go up to Barbie plastic for this, and you'll see here in a second how it changes. I mean, it's just a painting at that point. It's watercolor. Again, it's something I really don't like. You'll notice it rounds off that edge, things like that, but it's really smooth. Actually, I'd go probably to about an 8, like that. And then what I would do on this layer is I would start to dodge and burn. Make darker areas lighter, lighter areas darker, but not get lighting. So if this is dark, see, I mean, it's gonna, you have to be very, very careful about what you choose. I would work almost exclusively in the midtones and really anything under 20%, because you're really just trying to lighten areas up just to smooth it out, make it more consistent. But you don't want to negate the photographer's work of the lighting. Now this area where they said it was kind of looked fat, no, I don't believe that. Yeah, I am going to do the midtones, and I'm probably going to do the shadows really low level, because that shadow is creating a little bit of that illusion of fat. But we want skin to be very even. It's more of the tones we're trying to get even, and not necessarily the skin, but in the process we do get the skin evened out. Okay, let's turn it on, and let's take out the smoothing. We'll probably have to go up more with more of a noise filter or a median filter, or like a dust and scratches. Let's try the median again, just to go to the extreme. Let's go up to 13, and you'll see it gets a lot smoother, almost a powdery smooth. I'll take it to 14 just to dramatize it a little bit, and I'm going to knock the opacity down just a little. I don't like this look. It's fake in my opinion, but you'll notice around the nose, if I zoom in here, the nose is another one of those areas that loses the detail. So to get around that, I'm just going to put a mask on it and go over some of the detail areas of the nose, which would be the bottom of her nose, maybe even kind of around her lips a little bit, just to leave that detail in. Honestly, this is Barbie, and no, I would never do this. I would never do this to any portrait I ever took. Just going over some of the detail areas where it could have bled in. Let's go around that ear just to make sure the hair areas. Generally, when you're doing work like this, anything that has detail, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and believe it or not, jewelry. Any type of jewelry. And that's why I only selected the skin. So this looks, I mean, you can see all the detail in her, but her skin is totally plastic. Which, yeah, that's... okay, so I will go ahead and we're going to put some layers on here for correction. I'm going to do some brightness contrast, just to punch it up a little bit. We'll do some brightness. You're gonna, when you finally see this, you're gonna go, wow, that's kind of over the top. So maybe a little bit of vibrance just to punch up some detail. And let's see what else I got in my arsenal here that I might like to do. We'll do curves. I'm gonna add just a bit more of the darkening. That's really cool. We can do that with the background. You know, I don't want to make her skin look too yellow. So that's maybe the next thing is we'll go through and we'll do a little bit of color balance, and I'll take the midtones, I'll take that yellows down to maybe blue, and the reds down to a little bit of cyan. Magenta's up to green. just pick here and there. Nope, didn't like that. So correct those. Like, I think my curves is a little dark, so I'll bump that back up just a little bit. Okay, at this point I would say, yeah, I'm done. I mean, this is, unless you wanted some background replacement, I would say this is probably it. So, what is the damage to this? Let's group these, and let's turn off the final. And there you go. Same model. You know, not my favorite thing to do, but I wanted you to see some of the techniques. And some of the techniques we used were dodging and burning. We used the liquefy tool, and we used the median filter, which is a very underused filter to do skin smoothing, to get that plasticky look. So I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.